girls came 75 minutes late, and they're late. So, but can you pull up the girl? We're gonna react to some of her Instagram posts because not really dating related. Make it bigger for us. All right, this is the individual who has flaked on us 3 times already, and who maliciously, I believe it's a malicious no-show today. Essentially just trying to lock up a seat to fuck us over because she doesn't like us. Scroll down, mind you, remember, mute the audio on, we're gonna play, mind you, Disney, she's a Disney adult.
Ew.
Okay, red flag number 1. I should have seen it there. Okay, X out of that. Now we're gonna react, not dating related at all, but I feel like we gotta look into some of these messages. So pull up the baddies vote one. There's gonna be audio on this.
For saying don't put a homophobic racist in office, then I get bad press for that. I really don't care. If I get bad press for saying don't put a homophobic racist in office, then I get bad press for that.
She says, I really don't care. Wait, click it again. It's hashtag.
If I get bad press for saying
X
don't
out.
put a...
Women's rights are human rights. Next one.
People want to say, don't let politics ruin relationships, friendships, yada, yada, yada. No, I'm sorry. At the end of the day, this election really came down to who people are and what people value, basic human rights, being a decent human being, understanding women's rights to have the freedom to their own autonomy, racism, being aware of that, just who you are, like having morals, having integrity as an American living here in United States. I will never absolutely understand any brown person, any colored person across the spectrum to advocate for a man that is openly racist, is a felon and a rapist. What message are we sending for our children in the future? What message are we sending children right now? It's very disturbing to me. It's very disgusting. I fear any woman that decided to make that conscious decision. I fear any black man or Latino, Hispanics that decided to make the conscious decision to vote for him, because at the end of the day, he doesn't like people that look like me. He doesn't like people that look like you. He hates you.
Can we just put her in the crystals already?
Hate yourself if you made that conscious decision. Now, I have a lot of emotions. I have a lot of bent up energy. I have so many things that I want to say, but I can't even fathom nor correlate conducive sentences that would be even
this is too much
to understand right now. But what I can say and will fucking stand on is, at the end of the day, if you stand for nothing, you will fall for anything. Okay, so if you made that conscious decision to vote for that man, I am asking you respectfully to unfollow me and to remove me as a follower. And at the end of the day, I am going to be only following content creators and influencers that value the same ideologies as me, and value me as being a mixed brown Afro-Latina girly, and just across the board. So again, if you made the conscious decision to vote for that man, fucking unfollow me right now. And yeah, I will burn bridges over and over.
Wrap it up, lady.
And over and over and over fucking again.
Wrap it up, lady.
Okay?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, there it is. No, pull it back up. Pause it, though. Pause it. Stand for nothing, you will fall for anything. Women's rights are human rights. Women empowering women. Stop racism. Stop ignorance. BLM. Brown women matter. Fight for freedom. Okay. Women must stand together is the caption. X out of that.
Can somebody from the Crucible crew, or everybody from the Crucible crew, just ask her what crystal color? Just ask her what crystal color.
Ask her which denomination of Christianity she is to.
Which denomination of crystal?
Yeah. Up. That next one. All right. If you voted for Trump, I mean this in the most disrespectful way possible. I do not want anything to do with you. Not only did you vote against basic human rights and equality, you decided racism, homophobia, Islamophobia, transphobia, and misogynistic behavior wasn't a deal breaker. And she says in the description, unfollow me and remove me as a follower. I will not be working with any brand company or individual that doesn't align with my ideologies and values. Yesterday's price isn't today's price. Okay, that doesn't really make sense, but okay. Next.
Do you know them? No.
Lower the volume a little.
Do you know them? No.
It's embarrassing and disgusting. Women's rights are human rights. Next. And then this one. Sorry, Dad, that's a no for me. Feeling like Kanye. Kane? Wait, Kane? Who's Kane?
Kanye.
Did she mean Kanye? Because
she meant Kanye.
The alleged. I don't know.
Kanye like Trump.
Women's rights
Kanye is controversial. That's like as a saying.
I feel like she kind of missed the mark with that one, given.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways. Dad, please don't talk about politics during Thanksgiving dinner. Next. And then me after one drink. So I guess she wants to
The most stupid woman
She wants to just like tank the Thanksgiving dinner because of politics, and then hashtag in the description, women's rights are human rights. Now, she did say something that is kind of dating related, and she said something along the lines of, she said she would end all her relationships. I suppose this would include romantic relationships if this individual like voted for Trump or was a Republican. So, I mean, obviously, I do think in relationships, having shared values is important. I guess this more so relates to personal friendships or like familial relationships where you see people like cutting off family members because of the way they voted. I know that's not super about dating, but perhaps the first thing we can get into is, do you think like valid to like cut off a romantic partner because of who they voted for? And then secondly, not dating related, but what about like cutting off family members and friends for their voting pattern, I guess. Starting with Kiko, go ahead.
I mean, I would say it's valid because you could feel whatever you want to feel. If that's what you want to do, so be it. I'm sure both parties would rather not be in each other's lives anyways. For me personally, I don't care about, maybe not don't care, but I would never, I personally wouldn't cut someone off for voting for Trump or being Republican, but I would cut someone off for being a Trumper. Mm-hmm. Those are two very different things for me. What does that mean? You can vote for Trump, you can vote Republican because that's, you believe in his policies and whatever. But if you have all the MAGA branding and your trucks decked out and all that stuff, I don't believe you should be worshiping anyone but God. So why are you
worship, though?
It's not a worship.
Like how he branded the Bible with Trump and people are buying that, and how they, like, I understand voting who you want to vote for, but the fact that they're parading him around like he's some like someone that should be like, that's, it's politics. Vote for who you want because you believe that's what's going your best interest and you believe what they say. I have no problem with that.
So then any publishing house that puts the publishing house's name on it is an error on the Bible?
No. I'm just saying,
well, I don't. All that happened with the Trump Bible.
I don't think it's right to brand in like, the one I'm speaking about is the one where it was a normal Bible, and it looked like they literally took a branding tool and branded Trump into it. I don't think that's right. Like, I wouldn't brand Kamala. I wouldn't brand someone I look up to or whatever into my Bible. I think that's very weird.
I'm not actually familiar with that. But the thing is if a publishing house were to put their brand on it, the last name was like, I don't know, Steve Jack or something, or Steve Jack Publishing, you wouldn't think that was an issue.
I would, if they made a Bible and branded in bold letters that takes up a big, a good, maybe not a third, but a good portion of the Bible, they branded their name into it, I wouldn't purchase that.
Yeah,
no.
I've never even heard of that.
I never heard. It was going around. I'm not saying that Trump personally endorsed it. That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. I'm not. But people were buying it seriously.
Okay.
So I'm saying the people who are doing things like that, I'm like, okay, like. We're doing a little too far.
But leaving the Bible alone for a second, okay? I'll just be very charitable and say, sure. If they're buying Trump brand Bible that's branded into it or something like this, that's one step too far for you. Okay, I can. But what about if they have their truck decked out and this type of thing? Like that's what you were alluding to. I'm talking about
the one where it's like, I'm not saying you can't have a vote for Trump sticker or a flag or whatever. I'm talking about the ones where like yesterday outside my job, there was a truck that had 4 flags in the back.
Yeah.
The big person as him driving, fully encased in, if you vote for Kamala, stay 500 feet away from me. Like all those stickers, I think that's doing a little too much. I think that's creating separation and it's doing more evil than good. That's my overarching point. And the ones who are just taking it like they're just making him play out to be like he's some god. Like those are the ones I have an issue with. If you want to vote for him,
I understand what you're saying, but aren't they doing you a favor? Because if your ideal here is like if you're this into Trump, right? I wouldn't want to be around you anyway. And if they're just advocating that outright, then aren't they doing you a favor?
That's fine. I don't really care overall, but I'm saying I feel like it creates more divide in our country than good is my point. Because you can vote for whoever you want to, but like everyone has the right to react how they want. They have the right to rep what they want, but I just think it does more harm than good. Like you can have your propaganda you can have, but it's just overarching. Like I had someone post like even after he won, they just put a bunch of like Trump meme stickers all over my bar, and it's like it's cool. Like I don't, but it's like it's just now you're making them even I feel like look bad. I don't think it's.
But can I tell you something? What you just said, I respect your point of view, but just to show you from the other side, they did the same. The liberal did the same, and even worse when people got elected. Like when
Which
Biden,
election?
With Biden.
I've
with
never
Hillary.
seen someone with 3 Biden flags running around.
Just the fact that they go and chant in a really crazy way and scream when you don't agree with them, all this psychotic attitude.
We're both talking about the far outsiders, and that's what I have an issue with. I have the same issue with the liberals who do all those things. I'm talking about the outliers. Those are the ones I have an issue with.
What do you mean liars? I don't know.
Outliers, like they're not the norm. I don't think the normal person who voted for Trump is like that. And I also don't think the normal person who voted for Biden is like that. I personally didn't, but whatever. So I'm saying we're talking about the small majority that takes the big light.
That these cities then who have these massive LGBTQ parades and things like this, and they're completely inundated with rainbow flags everywhere, this type of thing, would that be propaganda you would consider divisive?
It's about devices. Divisive is a word, right? Like I believe.
Yeah, I'm aware it's a word.
No, like the word that I'm stuck on, I should say.
Oh, okay.
Because I do think that like when we didn't have the rights we have now, I understand why the LGBTQ parades and things were a thing. So I do believe if I say that there can be a LGBTQ parade and stuff, there could be a Trump parade or whatever. I think it's just an issue.
But isn't it just as divisive, I guess, is my question.
It's more divisive. A lot more.
I wouldn't say more. I would say equally. I would say they both have their equal
I'll just grant
parts.
it with equal here, just for the sake of it.
But I get what you're.
But if the argument is like, if you're all decked out, you got the Trump truck, you know what I mean? It's got the Dixie horn on it,
when's
right?
politics
It's got like the whole
pride?
9 yards.
Listen,
you go, hey, that's really super divisive. It's like, okay, I can grant that, right? I can grant that people would look at that and see it as divisive. But wouldn't you have to say the exact same thing with these kinds of pride parades, which happen?
I just think this is one thing. It's the president of our country versus, not to sound
a group that divided the country. I mean, because the LGBT, I was here in the 90s.
I totally lost what I was going to say.
Listen, 90s, 2000.
I totally lost my whole train of thought with that
This
comment.
isn't, yeah.
Can I say something?
I'm just.
I get what you're saying, and I
90s,
honestly, if I'm being
2000.
100% honest, I would like to think more about my overall point about that before I try to put a point.
Okay, I think why it's not the same thing, the whole Trump and the gay pride community, is because gays in their community, they had to fight to be accepted into
So did Trump.
Trump is literally had been president for how long? You know what I
After he
mean?
fought to become president.
Yes,
Exactly,
but
after they laugh
but
at
that
him.
is like that's politics. But what it's
No,
also
it is.
nothing
This
to
is
do with
politics.
that.
It's even more politics. You know how much money
because
they
like
make?
you have to fight for rights to love someone
But
who you
it's
want to love.
not about rights.
But Trump is literally fighting for something that half our generation could I'm not a voter, so I could care less about it. But
That's the problem.
Yeah. You're probably right, but there's also me that don't really give a shit about politics. But yes, would I say that it's okay?
You didn't
for,
vote this election?
No, I don't
Then
care. I
you should
really
probably
yeah, I
sit
don't. I
out
really
the
don't care because I don't give a fuck. I
wanna-
don't even know what they're
I
talking
wanna add
about.
one
I
more
didn't
thing.
vote for Biden versus Trump because I thought they were both.
Oh, I didn't
couldn't
vote then either. I
decide,
never
but this
voted.
one I definitely
Nah,
voted.
you're gonna
'cause I
say
knew
some
for sure
Kamala shit.
Kamala
Nah,
was
you're
Chill out.
What?
No, you're gonna
Yeah,
say some
I've
TOS
never-
shit.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you're
I'm not.
literally about to.
I promise to. No, I'm not.
And can I add something then?
I just
I'd like
want
to hear it.
Okay, so I think what point you brought up when Trump had to fight for presidency, of course you have to fight for presidency. That's literally in the job description. It is not in a job description to fight to be with the person who you love. So it is not the
But
same
it-
thing.
Well,
Yes.
I want to
marriage.
hang on,
Good point.
You,
Yeah,
would you
hang on,
say
let her
would
go.
you say that marriage is part of the American, whatever community, however we were brought
Dream.
up, American dream, marriage, white picket fence, kids, whatever.
Define. Well, okay, sure. Define marriage.
Yeah, define marriage. It's honestly, it's just a commitments for property.
Then
It's
no,
basically
that
like a
wouldn't
legal
be
agreement.
part of the American
Not
dream.
true.
But that's
marriage is
technically
written
what
down.
it is. Marriage in
but that's
the
not-
like idealized
Sure.
sense is love,
Yeah,
right?
but the thing is that's not part of the American dream. No, it never has been.
Okay,
the idea of
the idea of
the
marriage,
idea of like a contractual state marriage. No, it's never been a part of the American dream.
no, but that's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah, but-
the idealized version of it, which has been basically promoted as the American dream of, oh, you're going to find somebody that
promoted.
you love. Yeah.
But it's not the
And the
original.
promotion is the device, right?
Exactly.
And that's
The
what makes it
promotion
divisive.
of men and women being the only ones getting to be married, that is biblical. That is traditional.
What's wrong with that?
well, no.
The Bible and the Constitution should not be one and the same. That's literally part of the Constitution, so it shouldn't decide who gets to love one another. I am very passionate about this. A lot of my family is LGBTQ, and they had to fight for rights. My uncle got HIV because he was, during that time, and he had to fight to get medication to stay alive, where if somebody else got a sickness that's not related to being gay, they would be treated right away. So no, gay pride and everything like that is not divisive. It's only divisive if your views make it divisive.
Well, okay, well then, hang on, right? Just stop for 2 seconds.
sorry.
Let us have the exchange, please. If that's okay with you, Your Majesty. Anyway.
No, I didn't mean
So back to this, okay? What in the world would that have to do with whether or not it's divisive? You saying, for instance, hey, wait a second, Andrew, right? They had to do this because A, B, C, and D.
Yeah.
And it's only divisive because this group over here doesn't like it. That's everything. That's literally
Exactly.
that would be Trump. That would be Kamala. That would be
Exactly.
so saying it's not
but-
divisive.
well,
hang on.
okay,
I just let you
sorry.
go.
My bad,
Let you go. Right. So saying that it's divisive, which is the point, there's no way around that. It's divisive. You saying it's only divisive because this group doesn't like it. Well, that's the point of what divisive means, right? That's everything I can think of.
Okay, then I'll correct my statement. It's divisive, but it's not as divisive as a political election. It's not as divisive as something that affects a literal majority of the U.S. population. Just because somebody has a pride parade, that doesn't affect anybody other than the pride community.
Yeah, but so nations have foundational morals. If you have a foundational moral, all right, or some type of foundational ethics, and then somebody pushes against those ethics, I can't actually think of anything that would ever be more divisive than that. Ever.
Okay, well, define what.
Like, for instance,
what
let's say if you
moral
went
ethics.
let's say if you went to like an Islamic nation and you were like, hey, I don't want the women there to wear burqas anymore. Can you think of anything more divisive than that?
But I mean,
I don't think that's comparable.
Most of America is for gay marriage
hang
and
on,
gay
it's
rights.
It's a foundational system that their society is built around. If you go and attack the foundational system, the societies, you're literally
But yes,
propagating
if a
divisiveness.
foreigner, if somebody that's outside,
Even
of
inside.
their,
Even inside.
But the example you gave was outside.
Well, it
so
wouldn't
I'm
matter
gonna be-
either way. Even inside, it would be the same thing.
Inside, yes, it would be divisive, but that's part of the people. That's part of what they want. So
Aren't we the land
you
of the
have to-
free?
Yeah, exactly. So we
I mean,
have to
like,
take that into
if I'm being honest, like,
consideration.
no, like Andrew, seriously though, like I understand. Obviously, we have our laws. We can't just do whatever we want. It's not a lawless land. But like, I feel like that's one thing with, regardless of what your own beliefs are. We are in America, where that's something that we built on being able to do whatever you want to do, as long as it's not inhibiting someone else's
That was never
happiness.
what America was about.
I want to.
It was a land of equal opportunity, and that's equality.
That's
is
not
given.
and to get
That's
away
equality.
from tyrants and to be able to create your own future.
The very first thing that happened in the United States after the Revolution was George Washington instituted a whiskey tax, raised the militia, and attacked his own countrymen to collect revenue from them. It's the very first thing that happened.
Okay.
No, this was not a land which was to be pursuant under anything.
But what do we claim
hang on,
today?
Hang on. Just relax for a second. I'll get right into it, I promise. No, our foundational principles were not based around. In fact, they were based pretty specifically around the idea of God that was in the Declaration of Independence itself. All of the colonies, when you talk about the First Amendment, and when you're talking about the separation of church and state, that doesn't actually appear in the First Amendment. All 13 colonies had a state religion, and they did post-constitutional ratification. It took years for that to erode. So the reason that the 10th Amendment is in place, in fact, is so that they didn't want to tell each of these states which religion they could have, but they were never telling them they could not adopt one. They looked at them as like small countries unto themselves. So no, when you say like, what is a country founded on? What are the foundational principles? These aren't them. These are new principles, came out of, like 70s radicalism, 60s radicalism, really had nothing to do with foundational principles.
Okay, so if things can change and they're based off of new principles, then why is having gay marriage legal an issue?
You still have to conflict with the same grounding principles which are there.
Well, why would a pride parade, what does that affect? Versus
like when men
Trump
were walking
and
around half naked in the street and stimulating oral copulation with each other in front of children. Like, you think that doesn't bother people?
If they were on the streets in the public, then honestly, that's on the parents for letting their kids out to see that.
Wait. Hang on.
Ridiculous.
Why would that be on the parents? Like, let's say you're just walking down the street. Or you're going to show support, right? You don't expect to see that.
Straight people don't do that. Straight people don't go and show their sexuality.
Let's not say because they definitely do.
No, but I mean like
yes, they do.
No, it's not what I meant. No, it's not what I meant. I meant gay. Sorry, straight people don't have a parade for the sexuality
because they didn't have to fight for their sexuality.
We can't tarry on this for too long because it does dive into the realm of. We're moving.
Maybe we should just ask an actual person in the community.
Too much,
but I want to
hang on. But I know
I've dated
do.
women too.
Yeah.
Hang on. But maybe we can close it. Maybe we can close it this way. We can give you a last word here, and then I'll just make a brief response, and then we'll move it to kind of the next topic, so we don't tarry on this forever. But go ahead.
Oh, I said my piece.
Can I say?
So
then we're good.
Make it quick.
Okay, what you don't understand, and a majority of people here don't understand, that it's a lot more than this specific community, because it's tied to other things, to other communities that eventually, in the end of the day, it's very, very politic. These communities get a lot of so-called human rights organization money, to go and do all these parades that you see. It's not just for the people right to get married and do things. It's a lot more than that.
All right, you got to wrap it quick. So anyway,
keep her off.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not saying the words. You see.
Yeah, you don't know.
How long have you been in America? Can I ask?
15 years.
15?
20, but 20.
Because I feel like it is relevant.
So
No.
So I mean, the ultimate idea that we're talking about is we're talking about a clash of ethics. So if you attack a foundational ethic that a society is built around. So I think that society is built on religious values, all of them. There's not a one that isn't. So let's say politics is downwind of culture, culture is downwind of theology. So there's no culture that's on planet Earth that's not informed by its gods, what it worships, what it doesn't worship. It's not any. They just don't exist. It's how human beings seem to function with each other. So anytime that those values, whatever those symbols are that are inside of that, to get kind of attacked or people are pushing against them, they want some sort of change, it becomes revolutionary, and people hate that, right? They hate that's like if you're pushing revolution, then that's what people loathe. And what happened in the 60s and 70s with the kind of gay rights push, they called it a revolution, right? This is a rights revolution, right? The same thing kind of with feminism. These are rights revolutions that they're pushing towards. So yeah, I can't really think of anything more divisive than that. That's super divisive.
Oh, bro, I knew it was a fucking mistake. Go ahead.
All right. We can move on here.
No. Did we ever even get through everyone's dating status?
I just don't know how to tell her, she doesn't.
Oh, I went to the
Yeah,
bathroom.
I think, yeah.
She's good for now. I got her.
Divorced.
Yeah. So anyway, moving on. Moving on from there, Brian, you got some show notes you want to dive into here? Yeah.
Then you come back into the camera, big dog. So the door
He's coming.